My name is Johannes and I am part of a 60 strong force of experts dedicated only to one thing, bringing NDC to travel agencies, bringing modern air retailing to the trade in order to make more business together. That's our only vision. We don't have anything to do with our .coms, with our own channels. We are only dedicated to you guys, and that's important as an initial statement. Lufthansa Group is at the forefront of any digital innovation. I want to give you just 3 examples. We have a flying lab, and the flying lab enables companies to actually use the time they spend on board with us when flying to big events, for example. Interactive conferences using our Wi-Fi on board, speeches, trainings for employees, in order to start events already whilst being on board. So 2 examples are, we launched a new car of an automotive company on board of our planes, and we did a fashion show on the road to New York to the Fashion Week, live on the plane. All of this, of course, supported by digital technology. Second example is our innovation hub, based in Berlin, spreading out to Asia with new offices in Shenzhen and in Shanghai, where we launched an app. It's called airlinecheckins.com, where passengers can register, they can choose and pick their preferred seat, and they will always be checked in automatically on more than 200 airlines. So those are just a couple of things we do, and last but not least, if you board one of our planes in LA, flying back to Europe, you don't even need to show your passport anymore. You just walk through the boarding gate because everything is biometric. You can always opt out of these things, but we believe that with all the GDPR discussions going on, customers actually expect relevant offerings to them, and that's what we also take along when it comes to distribution. So NDC for us is just a technological standard, like for everyone else. It's what we make of it together, what counts. And NDC means that we can take into account individual customer needs in a better way. I try to go here because I hope the sound is better. So what you can see here on your left-hand side is the part that in an NDC environment happens in our shop. So it's basically the offer creation part. Today, as you might know, we as airlines, we're sending out our flight schedules, we're sending out price points, and we're sending out availabilities in booking classes to the GDSs. Should I take this? Sorry, is that better now? Okay. Marilena, I think we need to sponsor a bit more to get the technology also running here. No, I think the last bit that I was mentioning is that what you see on the left-hand side is the creation of our offering. So what we do today is we send our schedules, we send our price points, and we send availabilities in booking classes out to the GDSs who compile these offers for us. In the future, in an NDC environment, we're doing this by ourselves. And the reason why we need to do this ourselves, you can find on the right-hand side. It's our customer space. Our customers very clearly demand a greater variety of offerings. So just today, for us, search is a black box. We only get booked information. So when a ticket is actually issued or a booking is made, we see what's happening, but we don't see what's happening in between and what the customer is actually looking for. So as airlines, in order to help you as travel agencies to make the relevant offerings, we need to have modern technology in place. And we're investing a double-digit million figure in euros in order to enable this offer creation process, but also in this first bit, which is our own sales channels, our airline.coms. But we're not only investing there, NDC really is the bridge to enable all these new offerings, and I'll give you 2 examples in a second, that are coming through the pipe also within your channels, within the travel agency channels. So that's what NDC for us is all about, making you participate in that change. And that's why we have created the Ndc Partner Program. I'll speak about that in a minute, because we know that this is a big change for the industry and that we need to change that together. So we are ready to invest and to support in order to make sure that we can manage that change together. I give you 2 examples now. As you know, traditionally we had 3 service classes: first class, business class, economy class. And what we did in order to tailor our offerings a little bit more, in 2015 we introduced branded fares or fare families. So we have a light fare in Europe. In the economy class we have a classic fare, we have a flex fare. So we're trying to tailor already our offering to different demands within one compartment. But that's obviously not enough, and any other low-cost competitor is actually able to offer endless price points. We are limited to the 26 letters of the Latin alphabet called booking classes, right? So if you look at our prices, we have 159 euros, then we have 259 euros, and it's very big chunks. So we actually altogether lose out on demand and on willingness to pay from passengers. So what continuous pricing does, it just sets a price point in between so that you have this endless price curve available. That's one example. Another example is in 2020 we will get new aircraft, and these aircraft will have a business class configuration with 7 different seat types. So you will have 7 different seats. You have an extra long seats for tall people, you have a couple seats for people who want to travel together, you have a privacy seat if you have a business traveler who wants to work undisturbed, and all of this just doesn't fit into the legacy pipes today. So that's why we're building NDC APIs as an industry that can then be consumed by different parties in order to enable these new offerings to reach actually the shelf. Before I come to the partner program, just very briefly how history evolved. We as airlines, we created global distribution systems, and that was long before the internet. And if you see, the internet is almost 20 years old, so also some time has gone. But in between, not enough happened. Yes, we invented e-tickets, but e-tickets was basically putting paper process into an electronic world. So even in an e-ticket, you have 4 coupons, right? You have an audit coupon, an agency coupon, and so on. You know why it's 4, also in an e-ticket? Because 4 is what you can staple together with a stapling machine. Yeah? So it's really, all paper process is put into an electronic world, but it's not e-commerce the way that Amazon, Alibaba, and co are doing e-commerce. And that's what we want to enable in air retailing for all parties along the value chain. And already 3 years ago, we started to announce our distribution strategy as Lufthansa Group. And even 3 years earlier, IATA has come together to decide about a new standard that has taken some time to evolve, but finally things are moving now with a lot of players coming aboard, airlines, distribution partners, tech providers, in order to make this new standard a reality. Lufthansa is at the forefront of this change, and no one likes change. So we fully understand and appreciate that it's a difficult process, and I'm very happy to have Adriano and Matteo also explaining from a more neutral view than I could ever say that, which challenges they also had to face. But I also would like to show the concrete benefits that we actually offer. And the benefits obviously have to be for all 3 parties involved. Obviously, there is a benefit for the customer, because the customer, like you do when you do your online shopping from any e-commerce, you expect that the offers that are being presented are actually relevant to you. So whatever you do a search, you want to get back the relevant offerings. For airlines, obviously, we expect if the offers that we are making are more relevant, then the customers will also be paying for it. So I mean, obviously this is not a charity thing, but we think that we can together earn more money. And I think that's the important bit. There has to be a benefit for you as travel agencies if you participate in that change. And we are fully convinced that if you can focus on your strength, if you can focus at what you do best, consulting your customers, finding the right solutions for your customers, and you don't spend time on comparing offers and finding out what's included now, is it with a bag or without a bag, in legacy systems, I think then you will be more successful. And we want to support you in that journey. So let's look at our road as Lufthansa to NDC. Number one, we have invested not only in technology, but we have invested in people. I said it before, we are a team of 60 people, including IT guys, including people we hired from GDSs, from TMCs, from agencies, from tour operators, from OBEs, in order to make sure that we cover a large area of expertise. So we have all these people embedded in our processes, set up to support the joint developments. Number two, we have of course invested into the tech step. So when we started 3 years ago, our systems were very basic. We started from scratch. By now we have a fully functional API, and an API is nothing else than an interface between two computers that enables two computers to talk to each other. And we have developed this interface with a wide area of functionalities. So number one, you have automated rebooking, reshopping, reissue, refund, and so on opportunities. You have additional auxiliary services that are not available in other systems, that are not even available on our own website, like lounge access, like Wi-Fi on board. So there's a lot more content in that pipe. And last but not least, we are working together with a wide range of technology providers to ensure an end-to-end process. Because we understand that it's not only about a multi-source shopping experience, but it's also about getting your customer profiles in, ensuring mid-back office feeds for reporting purposes, for duty of care purposes, and so on and so forth. So we are about to announce our 50th technology provider very shortly, who is certified on our NDC API. And I think that's very crucial in order to enable a fast and smooth setup of an API environment. But we also have a platform that's called Spark. It's an agency platform. It's an easy-to-use, single sign-on platform where you can find Lufthansa Group's content. And Lufthansa Group's content means you can find flights numbers, so the marketing flight numbers of Austrian, Lufthansa, Swiss, and Brussels Airlines. So a very wide range of offerings, including many code shares, of course, on our joint venture and Star Alliance partners. And of course, we also support. So this is free to use, easy to sign up to, and of course you can also combine the tools. You can get data feeds out of these tools to feed into your mid and back office environments and so on and so forth. But as a booking mask, this is really easy to use and easy to set up, and we will show solutions of our partners afterwards, but that's basically the simple to use one. And now let me come to the Ndc Partner Program. As I said, we appreciate it, and that's also a learning process over the past 3 years, that we need to solve for this problem jointly. So the Ndc Partner Program consists of 4 columns. Number one, and that's probably the strongest selling point, is the Ndc Smart Offer. So Smart Offer is everything you can find in the first box. So it contains, as of today, continuous pricing in a B2B environment. So what I mentioned before, no more ATP co-filed booking classes, continuous prices all the long way. It contains Ndc Best Fares. We have, I think yesterday, announced that out of Italy, we don't only offer a 20 euro fare differential in the new channels, a fare advantage of 20 euro on all point-to-point routes into our hubs out of Italy, but also to 4 main markets across our hubs. We have pre-sales on promotions. So just like if you are a member of your shopping mall and when Saldi starts, you go in the night before and you get access to those best offers. That's what you get with our promotions in many markets around Europe. You get access to inventory first. And of course, we have a differentiation also when it comes to auxiliary services. Some services are exclusively available in the API and others come at a different, more advantageous price point. But I'm going to show you some real examples because I think that's more telling in a minute. Secondly, and that of course is also key, because we are all aware of the current economic models, and changing an economic model is not easy. So we want to participate in that change. So we are supportive of sharing investment cost, because technology always means investment that needs to be written off over several years. So we are ready to support your IT resources, your IT projects whenever you engage with us. Depending on the solution, on an individual basis, but we're more than happy to support here. Number one. Number two, we understand that planning security is important to you. So we grant multi-year contracts, commercial terms, distribution agreements, if you enter into a direct distribution relationship with us. And that's really to round off the commercial package. So you have exclusive offerings on that channel, and you have a financial incentive in order to start developing and in order to continue producing on the NDC pipe. The third column is, for us as an airline, is new territory and is, to be honest, a challenging setup, but we have a first-level tech support for our API in more than 20 languages available, and we are expanding, and that's going to grow. So servicing is, of course, key. We need to make sure that whenever things go sour, we are there for you in order to support, and that we're there also to train your staff, so that the agents who sit in front of their customers are actually there to know how to use the tools. And fourth, goes without saying, there are several solutions out there. So we provide free of charge consulting for you in order to pick the right solution. So from a web-based free platform to any cooperation with a tech provider out of the 50 or so that I've mentioned before, it was 40 some time ago, or if you want to develop against our API directly with your own developers, in any of these cases, we will support the project with the team that I've shown before. So bringing all of this together, I think, makes it a very round option, and I'm of course happy to take your input on that. So just to sum up again on the NDC Smart Offer bit, what it means. So you can do the math yourself, but obviously it's a very easy €36 price advantage on a very simple European ticket, plus you can get a price advantage on auxiliaries, and there are some exclusive content in there, and that is bound to grow. We have a release every 6 weeks in the API, so it's a bit like your iPhone updates. So the content there is getting better and better every month. And now I would like to show some live examples, also from our partners here and from one partner in Germany, where you can actually see how this booking flow works in today's environment. And the first example is Tours with their booking platform, Lucy. No. And there you go. You see a Milano Frankfurt. We've recorded this before yesterday. You pick the flight, you pick the dates, and the search goes through multiple booking channels, basically picks all the different offerings from the APIs, from the GDSs, and then comes up with the result. So the price that is highlighted here, it's probably hard to see in the back, but this is the price that comes out of the API. And then if you scroll down, because this is of course sorted by price, you can see the price that comes out of the traditional pipe, the GDS today. And if you again do the math, you basically get to your advantage that you can pass on to your customers or adjust the fees wherever necessary in order to have a benefit from that. Second example, I actually like that display very much, is an advanced seat reservation. With a mouse scroll over, you can see the price of €10 for a seat which gives you a 33% price advantage over what you would usually pay. So very concrete examples, easy to use of what you can do. Then we have Welcome Travel. Welgo, it's a Napoli-Monaco flight, and you can see, of course, the comparison to competition. That, by the way, is an advantage no one can take away from you. You will always be the ones who can actually compare for your customers different flights. It's very hard to do. And it's interesting to see that this new distribution strategy enables us to tailor the offerings even to low-cost carriers. So you can see Vueling is way more expensive than us in that example. Would have been unheard of a couple of years ago if you would have Lufthansa in mind, right? So it's a bit managing this complexity of being a five-star carrier, the only five-star carrier in Europe with first-class terminals and you name it, but also being very competitive when it comes down to the price point. Interesting here is that you only see the best fare, you only see the content that comes actually through the API, because anyways the flights are identical, and in the next booking step you can then pick the different brands that I've mentioned before. So you can choose a flight with a bag, for example, on the outbound flight and the return flight, you have a different feature. So it's these branded fares that we have integrated. And last but not least, I would like to show you a live demo, which again also was recorded just 2 days ago, about continuous pricing in action. So that's really news here, because that is purely tech-induced, NDC-based, and you can see what this does. It's a Zurich Madrid flight, and what the system is doing, it actually goes into the normal ATPICO world, checks for the fares, and then it goes into our own offer creation system and picks fares. And you can see all the fares, all the results that are marked with a white star on blue ground are NDC results. And it's a specific flight, so it's one flight with one time, so one flight number, and one booking class. In this case, it's an L class, so you can't see that from the back, and it's the same result without the little star, so that's how you can see it's a GDS offering. So same flight, same time of the day, same flight number, same booking class, different price. And that is exactly what continuous pricing is doing. So that discount, in this case of 16 euros 61, 17 euros 61, is calculated automatically by the system and gives you again a competitive advantage here. And of course, it doesn't stop here. And that's also the only thing that's certain. Change is here to stay. So we will see more changes, we will see more technology, and also because I see, for example, blockchain up there. Blockchain and NDC, they go very well together. It's about decentralized platforms, it's about tailoring offerings, it's about opportunities for you as travel agencies to market your offering to a larger crowd. So we really believe that rich content will come in. After NDC, one order will be next. So we are now speaking about the offer world, but order will replace everything that we know today. Will replace tickets, will replace PNRs, will replace EMDs, right? So change is going to continue. It's only the beginning, and it's our offer to really make sure that you stay with us at the forefront of this change, and we are happy to guide and to support to basically manage this together. It's a bumpy road sometimes, not everything is perfect, and I'm sure we'll hear that also in a second, but I think it's important that we do it together. So I'm very happy. Ale, if you want to join me on stage. Should I do? Okay, all right, so if you want to ask any questions, that's all from my side. I just wanted to basically give you a quick insight into our strategy, show you what the partner program stands for, and I'm more than happy to take any questions from the audience that you might have at this stage.